evening and welcome to the Cover on Buffalo podcast. You're joining your host, Greg Tompsett, and my partner in crime, Aaron Quinn. Aaron, how we doing?
I knew that was coming.
Let's go.
I knew
That's
that
my
was
baby
coming.
girl. She knows what's going on. The Buffalo Bills, as the amazing Michael Buffer would put it. And still AFC East division champions for the fourth year in a row. As Aaron's shirt says, the Bills run the East. Get in here, smash that like button.
Let's
go. Oh, you are joining because the Buffalo Bills have defeated the Miami Dolphins in Miami 21-14 to win their fifth consecutive game this season to end the year, to win the AFC East for the fourth year in a row, for their fourth consecutive double-digit win season. And our coach went for it on our own 37-yard line to seal this game, and went for it again more times after that to put the faith and belief of this team there, because he knew either we end the game or I trust my defense to make a stop. This game all night is going to be filled with huge impact players from individuals Aaron and I have given a hard time all season long. And there's like 5 of them that made huge critical impact plays.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
It's that it's the does a thing game. Like Deontay Hardy does the thing. Sherfield does a thing. Everybody did a thing tonight.
It was a thing.
Dude,
Kuda Ford's making downfield blocks and punt returns.
Absolutely. There really is no more perfect game and end to the 2023 regular season and this 2023 Bills team than the way this game went and the frustrations involved in this. Everything that we've experienced this year came to bear in this game. Turnovers just outside the red zone. When you were getting stops, your defense is getting stops, and you're still getting these turns. It felt like the Giants game all over again. It felt like the Broncos game all over again, right? But then you flip the script a little bit, and you start getting some of the improbable plays that other teams get on us, like a punt return, a tip drill turns into a touchdown. Those are the things that turn the other way that make the Bills lose games
all season.
And so just really, it was the story of the season in one game. And the ugliest way to win an AFC championship. And I will take every single AFC championship here.
So
AFC East championship, sorry.
Correct. Don't worry, the internet will remind you.
Oh, yeah.
So I just it's so hard for me to read what's on my screen, because this was one of the more infuriating and full Josh Allen experience games where, I mean, there were 3 absolute cannot have decisions on Josh. Like, he didn't take an easy fourth down to Kincaid that was schemed that way for it to be a rub pick play to get 2 yards on a 4th and 2. And he was open. He didn't take it and instead threw an interception in the end zone. He's rolling out, throwing across his body, interceptions down in the red zone when you can't have them, throwing short of the sticks with no timeouts at the end of the half. And then I'm going to read you this. The man went 30 of 38 for 359 yards, 2 touchdowns, and ran the ball for 67 yards with a couple of the toughest willed first downs. That 14-yard run on 3rd and 13, counts with it. Like, how many guys in the NFL can do this? And Lamar's an awesome runner. He couldn't have done that. He could not have put his shoulder down through the linebacker, carried him, gotten another step as he's falling down, and then dove for 3 more yards. He got hit at the 9-yard mark on 3rd and 13 and got 14 yards. This is the Dumb and Dumber meme of, how could you go when I think you can't do anything any dumber, you go and totally redeem yourself. This was the Josh Allen experience in full. He made me want to pull my hair out, and then he made me thankful that he's the greatest thing that's ever happened to this franchise.
I don't ever want it to stop. This is the most fun I've ever had watching football. Straight up. And I hope that other fan bases enjoy it in the way that I've enjoyed great crazy play. Like I used to enjoy Brett Favre, even when I had seen him make turnovers. Like the turnover didn't matter to me as much. I think other fans
Correct.
don't care. They
You were
laugh at
living
it.
and dying with it like we do now.
But what a fun game. If you didn't have anything on the line tonight and just got to watch football and like what an up and down and the fun that he comes with. And we're not in this position without him. So I get it. I was hard on Josh tonight on social media, on Twitter, giving him a hard time in that first half because so much is on the line. And the way you're playing the reckless, even on that arm punt one that you referenced there where he had the first down. Like a lot of people in my mentions were saying, well, it's 4th and 2. It's going to be a turnover either way and actually gain some yardage, whatever. Those are all good arguments, whatever. You had it open. And it was, to me, it was more how he was playing to that point, the way he was showing that he was playing, the aggressive nature. I've seen that Josh, and that's Josh you typically lose games with. And so that's what frustrated me more than the situational. For like, oh, it's a fine turnover. Like, okay, whatever. Yeah, some turnovers aren't all the same, but still, the way he was playing early in that game backed you into a corner you didn't need to be in. Because then look, when it is going good, look where you're at, what you're doing.
Yeah. So once he doesn't take the play, yes. After the rollout, the fact that he came back across the body and threw it, and that, honestly, Collinsworth pointed out afterwards, he probably netted us an extra 15 or 20 yards with the arm
If
punt
you were
into the end
going
zone
to, yes,
versus what it would have been doing something else. But that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is, this was not like, like I'll give him the stuff where it's cover 0 and it's a hot read and you're not on the same page. I'll even like I need him and Gabe to get on the same page on that cover 0, but that's tough.
Maybe not anymore. I don't know.
I saw some questions in the chat here. We do not know.
I know about Gabe.
Kyle Trimble mentioned his fear looking at the mechanism was a PCL strain. He was declared out very quickly. That's never good. We'll get more on that later. I do not know. Same thing with Rasul Douglas. Do not know.
Probably the worst part of this night. Thanks for bringing that up, guys.
Thank you for ruining the so the whole point of that is not the end of the play. The end of the play, yeah, sure. That's just you can dismiss it. The frustrating part is that was not cover 0 reaction. Hey, I got to figure out what's going on. That was Joe Brady sent down, hey, it's 4th and 2. Our 4th and 2 play is a pick route to the open side of the field to have a natural rub to get Kincaid 2.5 yards. And that was the first read. It worked. Kincaid was open, and Josh's brain said, that's not good enough. I want to try to score a touchdown.
YOLO.
That's the part we're mad at. Yes, once he didn't take the first read and rolled the other way, the arm punt's better than an incomplete or a sack. That's fine.
Yeah.
Take the 2 yards and live to fight another day. Get the first down. Anyways, we're not going to spend any more time harping on Josh Allen today. We talked about it. He made some painful mistakes. He can't throw short of the 6. We've talked about it lots of times before. It's great to have those learning moments in victories, in division championship clinching games, in home field clinching playoff games that we win. That's awesome. I'll take it. I'll live to fight another day, because once he got through those, all the memes and gifs and cliches are real.
Yeah.
When he clicks, and again, I don't like Chris Collinsworth, but I'm gonna give him credit for this again too. When he talked about the playoff game that Brett Favre won after throwing 5 interceptions, that's our life now. This is it. Josh Allen had 3. It counts as 3 turnovers. He had 4 because the end of the half was his fault too. He had 4 turnovers. And he came back and is a huge reason, not the sole reason. There were some other contributors. He's why we won. We live by Josh. We die by Josh. He is all things. And he was fantastic in some of these stretches down the end, whether they were clutch throws, the couple times where he read the cover 0 blitz and had the hot read to Kincaid, the hot read to Shakir, and the runs.
How about my boy Shakir tonight, Greg?
Oh, go ahead. I mean, we'll skip to the receivers over the run game here first, because Khalil Shakir 6 for 105, Stefon Diggs for 7 for 87 with only 1 incompletion on the missed deep pass, caught all 7 of the other ones, so caught everyone, no drops.
Yep.
Dalton Kincaid 7 for 84 on 8 targets. Trent Sherfield stepping up with some toe drag swag. Dawson Knox, who people have been maligning all season, those are the 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
The 3 touchdowns. Trent Sherfield, Dawson Knox, and Deontay Hardy are the 3 touchdowns on the day.
We hate
receiving core led by Khalil Shakir, who you have been championing the whole time.
Yeah, no, just continues to make big plays. And I don't think he is a number 2 wide receiver, but when Gabe Davis went down, and I'm a bigger supporter of Gabe Davis than a lot of people, and I do think that injury could impact, if it's any long-term or anything, that could be an impact. I don't think Shakir is a number 2, but he gave you that number 2 production when you needed production from a wide receiver room, with Sherfield making a couple nice plays in this game, but he's still not that guy, right? To go to in situations. And it just continues to be explosive play after explosive play. I still track toxic differential, even though it doesn't get talked about anymore all that much, but he had 2 of them today. The Bills had 7 toxic plays that I didn't get the wrap interception at the end there, but still on offense, he's creating 46-yarder, 28-yarder, and then 100 yards on the day. It's not a fluke anymore. It's not just that he's having a couple spikes. He's continuously being a guy that is that 3rd, maybe even 4th option, depending on who's healthy. And I think that's a perfect spot for him in this offense. Love the way he's trending. Another good way. I mean, talking about stories of the season and how this game replicated a lot of the season. Perfect example is Khalil Shakir's game today.
Yeah. And, looking at this receiving core, we're going to find out some things here going forward. I'm not going to even presume what's going on with Gabe, but I think we have to, at least plan for the fact he may not be available next week. We'll see where that goes. We're in a spot where, like right now, I don't know what we do. I don't know what we do.
I think I already proposed it to you. We trade everything we have and spend all the money we have and get Terry McLaurin. It's super easy. Just get on the train.
Aaron, unfortunately, that's not allowed between week 18 and the wild card, but we'll talk about that.
You're talking about, I was talking about going forward.
We'll talk about that in March because that's fun. I mean it. I don't
right now.
Like, is it Justin Shorter? Is it Andy Isabella?
I think it's more 12 personnel, right?
It almost has to be. Like, it has to be involving Gilliam a little bit more. It has to be involving Knox even more.
We'll get more.
Sherfield and Hardy will have to play more. We'll have to play more, and you probably have to activate Shorter.
Someone's gonna go. Or Isabella, maybe?
Hell, did we even close the window on Shorter? Can we not activate him now?
I think he's toast.
I think we can't even do that. So it has to be Isabella.
Yeah.
Because and you're going to have to get more coverage from somebody in special teams because Sherfield's going to have to play more offensive snaps. There's a whole domino effect here if we don't have Gabe Davis. And I know plenty of fans are not Gabe Davis fans, and that's fine.
It matters.
He's been disappointing under any circumstance regardless of how supportive people may be. He's been a disappointment. He's still an important part of this offense. Is a great blocker, runs important routes, is part of the offense. We're not better without him.
No, he can still put up like 136 and 2 touchdowns any day.
He just did. It's, again, once a month. He's the best receiver in the NFL.
Hey, that's all I need, right? Like, I need one of those games here soon.
So we'll cross that bridge when we get more information later. Let's not speculate.
No.
The run game is going to look pretty poor on paper. It's 36 for 128. That looks like 3.6 yards a carry. 2 of those are kneel down, so you're already at 34 for 130. And I'll have to go back and count the exact ones. There's a ton of quarterback sneaks in there because we ran the snowplow at least 4, maybe 5 times.
It's
today.
not the what was he calling it? The Buffalo bobsled.
It is not the bobsled.
Oh my
god, it was
horrible. Like shoved down our throats.
I've heard some that are as good or arguably better than the snowplow. I've heard some other like pretty good, the Buffalo Stampede. I've heard some other like good ideas. Like there's fine stuff. It's sure in the bobsled. Let's put that to bed.
It is not. It is not.
There was also obviously that last drive where we did get stuffed on the last one, and Eric in our Cover One staff chat, it was kind of a quick whistle. But I honestly, I think it was the right call. I think Josh was a couple inches short.
And he wasn't getting much yardage.
Correct,
it was dead.
Correct. Yeah, like he was not continuing to push forward. It was right to blow the whistle. And I don't even know if after they blew the whistle, I don't know if he got there anyways. Like I think we were short.
At some point, you got to blow the whistle on those. It's never consistent. I don't know what the line is.
They could punch the ball out, other crazy stuff. We were not continuing momentum. Any of that other stuff is what it is.
Sure.
So all those different pieces pull down the efficiency. But if you look at one of the most important elements of that, which I like to look at on the team stats for the day, you look at the fact that we converted 11 rushing first downs. Double-digit rushing first downs is a great number. Yeah. So we had 26 first downs on the day. 11 of them converted rushing the ball. That is a successful run game to me. If you're converting 11 first downs via the run, you're having a very, very good day. So it's not the most efficient or prettiest run offense. We've seen that. James Cook had some tough yards. He did break a 14-yarder. We had some good, tough runs. The run game was fine. The offensive line, obviously there's a couple that are going to stand out. A rookie isolated one-on-one with an all Pro Bowl level D tackle like Christian Wilkins. Yes, Cybo got beat on that. There was a couple others where they were bringing the house and we struggled to figure out protection. So the numbers are going to look, decent for them. They had a lot of contact on Josh, but this offensive line played well in my opinion.
There was a little bit of play. Early on, Melvin Ingram looked like he was going to have a day like Melvin Ingram has against the Bills, and then they shored that up, right? And I think that's a little bit also him being out of shape and having to go a little bit more once Van Ginkel went out.
This version of Ingram,
not a good mix for him to have to play more snaps necessarily right now. But early on it didn't look great, and then some of the run fit stuff. That one play where Christian Wilkins just ripped the ball out of Josh Allen's hands was just Christian Wilkins being. I don't know that anyone can stop him an entire game from doing kind of crazy stuff like that. So they've been good on the interior, as you said. So you're going to have a little bit of that pressure. I do think it got to Josh early on. I think this has been the continuing problem. You hit it on the head here in the matchup that how was Fangio going to play against Josh and this team with being shorted out on talent? Would he throw the kitchen sink? And you saw a lot of it, and he picked and chose in spots. It wasn't every single play, but he
mostly
did.
third downs. Mostly third downs. He brought cover zero.
To Josh, and it got Josh off balance. And
2 of the 3 sacks and at least 2/3 of the quarterback hits.
Yeah, and that was really the difference in keeping this a close game. Should have been a blowout the way this Bills defense was playing. We've gone this far. We're 17 minutes in, and we haven't really even gotten to talk about Sean McDermott's masterclass defensive performance against Mike McDaniel. So it really just pretty crazy that they were able to keep it in and like that, all things considered there.
Yeah. Without further ado, let's flip over to that side of the ball. They held the most explosive offense in the NFL at times, the most explosive offense in NFL history. Tua was 17 of 27 for 173 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. They ran the ball for 108 yards, but maintained for the most part, no crazy chunk plays, had a couple nice runs because Devon Achane is a crazy athlete. They showed the percentage likelihood of him breaking those tackles and juking people on the way to that 125-yard touchdown run. That was pretty much it. And they dared the Dolphins to say, hey, you cannot matriculate the ball down the field in a disciplined manner. Your only game are these deep shots, and we're going to keep it in front of us. We're going to make you beat us on these multiple play, long drives. And they did twice. They had an 11-play touchdown drive and a 9-play touchdown drive. And that was it.
Similar to the first game, right? They got going in the first game too, a couple scoring drives, and then Sean McDermott made, and this is something that actually when we started this season, Greg, we talked about what was the difference in that Leslie Frazier versus Sean McDermott defense and how is it going to hold up in certain situations. And even I was concerned how it would get tested in one of the situations that we came up in later, but Sean McDermott has proven to be able to make adjustments, I think, more than Leslie Frazier in game. Even like you saw it here, they were getting the ball moved on them up and down, and they were running the ball, and they were doing exactly what Miami wants to do, get you on the outsides and stuff like that, and they were dictating. And then all of a sudden you look up and go into the second half, and it's like, dude, Miami hasn't even gotten a first down in multiple drives.
You talk about halftime adjustments.
Yeah.
The last 2 drives of the first half for the Miami Dolphins, 11 plays, 80 yards, touchdown, 9 plays, 75 yards, touchdown.
Yeah.
They had 5 drives in the second half. The 5 drives in the second half were 3 plays, no first downs, punt. 4 plays, 1 first down, punt. They got returned for a 96-yard franchise record-breaking touchdown. Got the ball back. 3 plays, 1 yard, no first downs. Got the ball back. 3 plays, 3 yards, no first downs. Last drive, 4 plays, 1 first down, interception. They had 5 drives with 2 first downs in the entire second half. The Miami Dolphins punted for the first time all season on 4 straight drives, and their 5th drive was an interception.
Yep.
That was an absolute defensive masterclass
Absolutely.
by Sean McDermott and a short-handed defense.
Against an offensive guru, might I add,
Against-
to win an AFC Championship game.
And that's not even a that's
AFC
not
East Championship game. Sorry, I keep leaving off the East here. I'm
Or-
thinking ahead. I'm trying to be a Von Miller and put my positive thoughts back out there.
and like you might have a little bit been twisting the knife and maybe there was a little snark on the guru comment, but it's real. Like
No,
he
he
is a
is.
genius. Like
He
he
is a
is an
genius.
offensive genius. Like
I'm jealous of what he does.
I am very jealous of their
Yes.
scheme. It's like what they
Yes.
cook up and like I want that. Please, Jesus,
Yeah.
please give me that. The fact that was shut down without Rasul Douglas for the whole second half, being
know.
short with no
Don't wanna
Tyrel
talk about that
Dodson.
either.
Like, imagine me saying that losing Tyrel Dodson was a negative. Like imagine me saying that 18 weeks ago.
I mean, geez.
It was unbelievable. Like this defense in the second half, in the whole game, giving up 2 touchdowns the entire game, 14 points to the Miami Dolphins, a whole game. That's fantastic.
Yep.
But that second half was one of the most impressive defensive performances I can remember. Like just given the moment, given the opponent, unbelievable to be able to be in that spot here. We'll a quick timeout here. Mike, fantastic point. Please give us a like. Here, his comment, smash that like button. We just won 5 in a row. Cover 1 is my therapy. So I didn't tell you this while you were out. We learned in a separate moment that we control these things. It's us that was
I can do
doing it.
this. I can
So
just
when
do
you
stuff.
celebrate, you can set off fireworks. I
Oh.
think the peace sign.
We're gonna-
see the
Oh, look
peace
at
sign
this.
is the balloons. So the fact that it happens,
You just talk with your hands all the
because I
time.
talk with my hands so much. Like I was accidentally setting the thing off, and we didn't realize it. We
that
learned that
makes
we
it
actually
the
can
best,
control it.
actually.
Yeah, you know, it is comical that.
Yeah.
So well.
We had a super chat up here. Pick's message said when we were 6-6, and anybody would have suggested that we were going to win the AFC East at the end of the season, I wouldn't have believed them, and I wouldn't have told you. Greg, okay, we need to pause for a second here in this and talking about all of our stuff. And I just got to say, like, between us friends, I don't know that there's ever going to be an October or November loss or slump that I'm going to care about.
Never.
Ever. Again, no matter what the schedule remaining
The rules
is,
don't
like
apply
you can't make me care anymore.
Yeah.
You can't.
We are the AFC East Division champions. Not because we need to win it or we just are like factual statement. Like in the essence of our being, we are the AFC East Division champions. That's just the way life works now.
My 7-year-old dude, swear to God, he today after the Jaguars won, he was, and I was like, yes, we're in the playoffs, and he's like, we're always in the playoffs. I was like, oh, that's so nice that you have that. That's
so
that
cool.
life you have.
Like,
I
that
was
is
cried,
the world
like,
that he
oh,
knows. That is the
that's
world that he
beautiful,
knows. And
man.
I will say, like, kudos to NBC and their production staff today, because the injection of nostalgia that they gave us leading into this game, like the
Drugs.
Thurman clips and all the different highlights. And then I didn't know that they brought in Marino and Kelly to do the actual like write up or the actual like pregame hype back and forth and talking about that. I say it all the time. Like you grew up in a different, I'm a little bit older than you, and you grew up in a little, you grew up in Patriots territory. So that was always going to matter more to you. I grew up like Kelly Marino and the Dolphins were it. Like the Dolphins were my rivalry. Like I always hated them way more than anybody else. I've always kind of pitied the Jets and never cared about them.
Yeah.
And then we weren't rivals with the Patriots because they destroyed us for 20 years. Like we're a rival, like a hammer is a rival with a nail. Like it just never felt like, so I hate them, but like rivalry is the Dolphins. Like it is for me. So having this back, having it matter, having that tension and everything leading into it. And, that moment we talked about, this defense earned it and deserved it. But the fact that like they had the ball driving in, with some opportunity with a lead and the position that they were in, that was in the fourth quarter that they had that ball. And that stretch of here, I'll ask you a question. How many people debated and just based on your own bias of wanting to blame the coach were ready to say, regardless of what the results were, just to play the results that, oh, he should have declined the penalty and kept it at 3rd and 15. I told you. And instead of taking it back to 2nd and 30, and I tweeted in my game day thread, I don't know the answer. I think that's a good debate. 3rd and 15 versus 2nd and 30. The analytics will show you those are both very low conversion rates. And I think a lot of people had already built it up in their head of, oh, yeah, this guy's an idiot. Like, I can't believe that he would take that. And it worked. And that moment was where, I mean, that punt return was one of the biggest momentum flipping release valves I can possibly
imagine
remember.
not believing in momentum? There's like people out there that don't believe it.
And, you know, I joked in the thread, I have fully accepted and taken my L on Deontay Hardy. But I told you the whole time he was a great signing. It was a great signing. He was totally worth every single penny.
Yeah.
How comically reminiscent is this to Nyheim Hines last year? Like the trade, everybody complaining, and then the return touchdown in the last game of the regular season.
Just that kind of night, man. Everybody making those moves. Yeah, I knew people were going to complain about that, him taking the penalty versus
he actually kicked McDaniel into a hyper conservative mode,
correct,
where he didn't want it to unravel. So once they ran the ball,
it was a win. Yeah.
Now it's 3rd and 24. Now you've already won the decision, and you're already better off. Now whether he knew that was going to kick
McDaniel played right
into that gear,
his hands.
But McDaniel played directly into his hands and made it the right decision and played for the punt. He played for the punt.
Love to see it, dude. When they got it and they got the net yardage and then made the punt, even if they didn't get the punt return, which is great and it changes the game. Yeah. That's such a win within the game for McDermott. You saw that a ton here as the game went on.
So let's flip over here and go through some of the things.
Keeper. Huge.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. The fact that you're checking us out, you guys have been very, very generous, and I would trying hard to get to all these. You guys have been fantastic. So that really, really does mean a lot.
Yeah.
Producer Chris asked a question here in our private chat and prepping for this, saying, "What does this game do for Josh's MVP case?"
Ruins it, and
I think it solidifies what this does. Is Lamar Jackson wasn't going to win a unanimous MVP. Yeah. He was going to win. He's going to win. He is going to win. That is over. He is going to win. This confirmed everyone's vote, because the people who had already decided to vote for Lamar over Josh Allen, the turnovers here are going to confirm for them. We'll see. Right. That's why I know he's great. I know he makes a good impact. I'm going to put it.
They should have lost this game.
Josh Allen's going to get the second most votes. I almost guarantee it. I think he's going to end up with the second most votes. The handful of people who might have put him number one are going to say, well, see, this is the game. This is why he had to put on the cape and carry them to a win. Look how awesome he was down the stretch. They're continuing to do that and are going to be able to go through there. But I have not made the case once. I don't think he is the MVP. I think he's made too many mistakes. And I'm okay with that. Like, he's
our MVP.
He could be the Super Bowl MVP. That's about to be.
He doesn't be MVP.
I don't need a trophy.
Yeah,
I don't need a trophy. Like, it's fine. The year that he had in 2020, when Aaron Rodgers happened to have, like, they had 2 of the top 5 NFL quarterback seasons ever. That was a year we could have argued it was amazing. He didn't win it. Josh will continue to be an MVP candidate every year.
He'll get one at some point.
He'll get one. It's fine. I don't need him to get one this year. Yeah. I'm Lamar isn't having a historic season, but he had a really good season on a 14-3 team, and that's how
he didn't play this weekend. That's almost kind of how it works, right? Yeah. Like, if you don't play this weekend, you're probably in the lead in your team. If you're the quarterback of that team, there's a good chance you're in the lead. And honestly, like, I'm excited the Bills made the playoffs. I'm so excited they won another AFC East Championship, but I haven't felt less confident heading into the playoffs since 2019 than I do right now. Like, Josh Allen he's had a good season. The stats will be good. The turnovers will be bad. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but he's not the MVP.
Yeah. Really cool here. Ricky Cambo, Fins fan here. Man. Great game. You guys deserve to win. Outplayed us in all 3 phases. Hopefully we rematch in Buffalo. Mad respect to cover one of Bills Mafia. That's really awesome, man. We appreciate you. Man. I will say, I don't want to see it that we technically outplayed you guys. We outplayed you guys in all 3 phases in the 4th quarter for sure.
Yeah,
it might be debatable for the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, your offense outplayed our offense for 3 quarters.
A good chunk of the game. Yeah, the Dolphins offense outplayed the Bills offense for a good chunk of the game, and the Dolphins defense outplayed the Bills offense.
Maybe not. The Bills offense again. The Bills beat
defense
themselves.
was great.
The Bills offense beat themselves.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
again, EPA is actually going to look great.
Correct. We drove down the field over and over and over again, and again gave them the ball. But anyways, awesome. Really appreciate you doing that, Ricky. That's very respectful. It's very cool. And I know I've had a handful of other people with really good interactions, and not all of them will be positive. there will be some negative interactions.
I never have any issues with Miami fans. I don't know. I honestly though, I steer clear of fan bases, I think, for the most part. I don't engage a ton, but Miami fans, I see it every week. I see people retweeting stuff, but they do not. This is not an open invitation, Dolphins fans, but they don't come at me for some reason. And I'm such a come-atable person.
I'll tag you in a few.
Who's more come-atable than me, right?
Yeah, you know. So Corn here, AFC East Champs, Beast of the East, great freaking win. Sean here, you guys are the best. Cover one, that really means a lot.
Appreciate you guys.
So yeah, you guys are very generous, very, very cool. And I do want to point one out that came up a little bit ago, Nick. If you guys were in the Cover One Slack channel, you could have caught him prophesizing about the AFC East win. That was a great time in there tonight. They ride the roller coaster like anybody else, but a fantastic time. Let's flip over and do some of the drives here for our friends over at West Her. This was one of those games you mentioned it earlier where it felt like that Giants game. It felt like that Broncos game. It felt like the Jets opener where we drove down the field 3 straight drives and it felt like, hey, we should be dominating here. And why don't we have points? What is going on? So it opens up right off the bat. We win the toss and defer, and everybody's kind of anxious and like, okay, last time we played Miami, we scored first and started out that race. Let's see how it's going to go. They get a little bit of movement. You have the Achane run for 16. It's like, oh, okay. And then we get a big stuff. Daquan Jones stuffs him for a TFL that I think was caused by Terrel Bernard and Tyrel Dodson kind of sniffing it out. We get a pass underneath to Hill. And then on third down, tries to take a deep shot. And Christian Benford looked like he was running with Tyreek Hill. I kind of think it was just underthrown, but good on Benford for getting on his horse as fast as he can go. Christian Benford, interception right off the bat. Kind of an arm punt on 3rd and 7 from Hill because we got the ball at the 16 is probably about what a punt would have been. But set a great tone and felt good to start that way.
Yeah, and what you saw, the contain on that run, on that 1st and 10 run with Gru, and everybody getting that stop, getting the -4. You saw, even though they got beat on some of those and some of the gap integrity did get exposed on some of the touchdown drives, and they were able to sustain some of those. The Bills defensive line did a really good job on some of that stretch, horizontal run game that Miami likes to employ. You saw us show up here on the first drive that guys that grew in that length, he was going to have a day versus a team that likes to stretch like that. And it was a concern of mine. But he's not going to have the big sack numbers that everybody wants out of an edge, but the way he plays against the run, there was a bunch of elite plays from Gru out on the field today. And that was one of them right off the game.
So we've got the ball. We're moving down, truly matriculating the ball. It's 5 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards. We get the nice one, Dalton Kincaid. We catch a nice one there. I love that they did that that was out of a heavy set.
Yep.
So that was 6 offensive line plus 2 tight ends. So technically, maybe they count that as 13 because David Edwards is declared eligible as a tight end. So I don't know if they'll count that as a third tight end.
Yeah, that's one of the.
But they set it up on 2nd and 4. Yeah, Adam or some of the guys who do a lot of the tracking will know how they're going to track that. But so Edwards comes in, it's jumbo set on 2nd and 4, and that's where they hit that play action deep shot to Dalton Kincaid. Come right back, James Cook run, and then a check down to him. Continue moving the ball down here. We get our first snowplow. Josh pushes it through, and it just feels like, hey, we got an interception, and now we're jamming the ball down their throat. They're in big, big trouble. 1st and goal, Fournette for 3 yards. Then we do have an incompletion, and then this is the one where it's the first time that Fangio dials up the cover 0 blitz. Josh is not ready for it, and I don't
Question
I
of the
don't know.
year. Whose fault is it?
I don't know how much to put on who. And just for any other fans there, we get into some heated debates about this in our Cover One staff chat of like whose fault different stuff is. And
It's
I
gonna
don't
go
know
on
how,
all week. It would have gone all week if they lost.
oh yeah, oh god,
Oh
if
my
they lost
God.
this game, we would have been gone the whole time.
Yeah.
So Josh throws it like a stop route. I'm pretty sure that's wrong no matter what, because this is either going to be an in-breaker or an outbreaker. I don't think there's any scenario where Gabe is running that as like a stop route box out to be in that spot. And
No,
that's
you're
what
either
Josh
going out or
threw.
in.
Eli Apple didn't have to move, and he threw the ball right to him. And
Yep.
Gabe broke in.
Yep.
And if he was on the same page, it was an easy touchdown. Or if Josh just eats it, it's field goal. And,
Yep.
hey, it's not the end of the world. Like, we got a sack and we get points and move on to live another day. We'll go through those different pieces of it. But as Bill's Blitzkrieg here says, Josh has been good, in my opinion. I've embraced Gunslinger Josh, but the absolute irredeemably stupid Josh cannot continue into the postseason. This is one where I'll live with this one because cover zero is hard. Cover zero is hard to have quick answers for.
Correct.
But we've seen this before, and they got to get on the same page. You got to figure out how to do this, and they didn't on that spot.
Yeah, and no matter where he was going with the ball on this, it was a bad throw. And that's what cover zero is intended to do, is get you off platform and make you make bad throws. This is why every single quarterback, when you look up the splits for every single matchup, every quarterback performs worse under blitz and pressure. That's the intent. But it's too often that he's making an off-platform bad throw and bad decision, it seems. That is the same exact thing that's happened with him and Gabe before, where regardless of who's wrong, it's a bad throw either way. And so you had that.
Correct. Even if they were on the same page, Josh off his back foot, falling backwards, it's tough. Like, he does hit a couple of those, but he's not going to hit those consistently. Even someone like Josh, most quarterbacks will be 1 out of 40 on those. Josh can actually weirdly be like 1 out of 4 when he's falling backwards, and Cowsworth kept talking about the fadeaway jumpers.
Yeah.
I hated that. That's actually not a terrible description of it. Just like people used to say, Jordan, hey, fadeaway jumper is not a good shot. That's not good technique, but he got so good at it that he just could do it better than everybody else.
Right.
So Josh can do better than everybody else. It's still not good. It's better to be able to be balanced and on platform.
I loved part of this drive coming out, though, with all the talk about Diggs this week, the first play going to Diggs.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a little bit of a not FU, but kind of like we're going to go at the, we're going to feed this guy. It didn't end up being a big,
and we're also not going to let Ramsey, your scheme is not going to take away Stefon Diggs.
Correct.
I think is the important part.
Man, it could have been a big day for him. It wasn't a huge day for him, but man, did he have a fun day against Ramsey.
Yeah. I mean, he went 7 for 87, and it very, very easily
could have been a big day.
Could have been 8 for 178
and a touchdown.
Yeah. Because that 89-yard touchdown, he would have walked in
a roasting highlight touchdown.
Yes, and an absolute roasted Jalen Ramsey highlight. So unfortunately, we were robbed of that.
Yes.
But we'll get to that.
But not yet.
So now the Dolphins have the ball at the 3-yard line.
Dude, this is terrible. This was just like first down.
Oh my gosh. So first we get the stupid penalty. Shaq lines up when it actually could have been safety and looked really, really close. And I swear to God,
I forgot about that for a second.
I'm 99% sure that Devon Achane's knee hit down while he was in the end zone.
Yeah.
And if that was not Shaq lined up offsides, it would have got reviewed and it would have been a safety. I'm 99% sure it was a safety. Didn't matter, didn't count. So then it's 1st and 5. We give up 6 yards on Devon Achane on first down, but then
get it back.
Miami has a penalty. So now it's the 3rd try at first down. We go a little bit. This one they hit River Craycraft on a shot up the seam. And I don't think Tua's like a weird scenario to me. He's not as good as Dolphins fans think he is. He's also not as bad as Bills fans think he is. Like, he makes some nice throws.
Oh, it's all over the tape. Yeah.
And his seam shots and that stupid, what did they kept calling that route where Hill runs to, like, it's almost like if you took the honey hole shot, but moved to the middle of the field and Tyreek Hill does a jump ball. Right. Like, what did they kept calling that super route?
Stopped listening to Chris Collins.
I know. I tried to zone him out. They ran that next. Yeah. And Tyreek Hill goes and climbs the ladder, and for a little guy, that dude can jump, and he goes up the ball. Achane, again, runs for a big chunk, and they're moving the ball down the field. But here, you start to get some pressure. I think for the most part, the Bills' run defense on first down got them into second and long, enough times where it really, really helped get them off schedule. We get an incompletion to Hill and get them into a spot where now it's 4th and 8, and it's 4th and 8, and 4th and 8 is not good math, no matter where you're at.
Right.
But I won't lie, my judgment on any of those is do what the opposing fan base doesn't want you to do. And I didn't want them to go for it on 4th and 8 from our 46. Yeah. And the fact that they walked out their punter and punted in our territory, I couldn't believe it. Yeah. I just could not believe it. And dude, you have this amazing offense. Why aren't you doing this? Oh, apparently we're missing some Black Monday.
Already early.
Arthur Smith got fired live during the show here. He kind of seems like a dick. That's fine. He kind of seems like a jerk. He kind of seems like a jerk. That seems okay.
Not a fan.
So, okay, the Bills got the ball, 11-yard line.
This is where you get
This is it. Diggs gave a little hesitation and froze Jalen Ramsey in his steps and roasted him, and Josh just threw it too far. That was it. I don't know if it was too far, but just not enough arc on the ball. Needed to get a little bit more air under it to let Diggs run under it. Didn't, but amazingly comes right back on the next one. And one of the most beleaguered plays in our playbook is these wide receiver screens.
Mm-hmm.
And I get why teams run them, but we're just not super good at them. And Khalil Shakir broke one for 46 yards. And I could not believe it. I just sat there in astonishment, oh my God, what do the wide receiver screens work? This is awesome.
Yeah. So we need to do this stuff more with Khalil Shakir. So he's been good and he's been steady. And I love the security blanket offer that he provides Josh and some of the stuff that he can do. He's not a Beasley, but he can provide that kind of role out of the slot. He's versatile. But this gadgety stuff that they're always trying to find somebody in the offense to be, whether it's jet sweep, whether it's screens, dude, that burst that he showed down the sideline, that was that punt returner, Boise State. This guy can do some stuff when you get the ball in his hands. That's what I've been calling for, dude. That was my biggest issues with Dorsey, with how you guys use players. This was a great example of using a player and getting him in space and allowing him to make a play. And you got an explosive this way. And Khalil Shakir just continues to do that for this offense. Is no matter where he gets the ball, whether it's getting downfield and getting big air yard explosives, or taking a screen or a quick slant and making an explosive out of it, he's always getting these big plays. And that's nothing but positive stuff for offenses.
Yeah. And I won't lie. It's easy to forget that he has that gear.
Yeah.
He's not always set up
faster than McKenzie. Everybody was like, oh, McKenzie, but
he's faster. He genuinely was straight up faster in the combine.
Yeah.
And he also has, again, he's not Beasley, because Beasley had that crazy
shifty
setup on the quickness piece of it. And Shakir's quick, but not Beasley quick. No. But he does have a pretty good eye for finding that soft spot in the zone. He did it a couple other times where he does have a decent feel for that.
Hands
and
are good.
If him and Kincaid can get that, that's really where this comes up, of needing that answer on those zone spots to be able to find it. So
that could be your wide receiver too.
Yeah.
Is those two, right?
So immediately we've dug out of where we were at. We're now in Miami territory. Ty Johnson gets a nice run. We're now 2nd and 5. We're at the Miami 38. So now points are where we're in good shape.
Yeah.
We get it down. We miss Kincaid. Josh does run. We get it to now 4th and 2. It's 4th and 2. This is the one earlier. I've already kind of ranted on it a bit. Josh just needs to take the profit.
Yeah.
It was designed right. Joe Brady schemed it right. We ran the pick play. Kincaid was open. We didn't throw him the ball. And then he did force it down the field once he missed Kincaid. And I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he, Holland was trailing him. Holland was going to tackle Kincaid. But that play isn't designed to break for huge yak. It's, hey, your big tight end is going to catch it. And then they're going to carry each other out of bounds as he gets first down. It's a 2.5 yard route. And he got the 2.5 yards.
Correct.
So once he didn't choose to take that, the rest of the play, sure, you want to argue that him taking a shot into the end zone is better than taking a sack or turning the ball over at the 35. Sure. Okay. Whatever. But take the profit. take a profit, live to fight another day.
Yeah. I hated everything after the Shakir play. I'm not going to lie. The Ty Johnson run was fine. Whatever you get into 2nd and 5,
5 yards
though.
first down's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. But so I shouldn't say everything after that. But that incompletion, that was another blitz. They dialed up. I saw it coming. I was like the Amazon tracker there that shows the blitz coming. I was like, oh, they're coming.
The one where Wilkins came almost untouched.
Yes, there was a couple of them where it's like either Josh didn't get protections right or somebody didn't see somebody coming. But they were.
So it's hard to know how much of that is Josh, how much of that is Mitch.
Sure.
And credit to Vic Fangio, he tricked them at least 4 or 5 times.
For sure. But you missed on that. And then 3rd and 5 and the Josh draw play. I don't know if that was the audible to that or if that was the call. I love running Josh, but just running him in the middle on 3rd and 5 doesn't. I mean, you got into 4th and 2. And that's also a weird spot to be in. That puts you in the spot where you are going to put the ball in the air and throw the ball. And eventually that turns into, again, like you said, I don't mind the interception after the point, but when you have a couple unsuccessful plays like that in a row after getting a big explosive and you dial up the play and it works exactly as you dial it up, man, that is hard to pass on. And then it turns into an interception, even though the interception isn't any different than a punt, or maybe it's even better than punt. It's just it's that feeling of how this play was there and got away from you and turned into a bad situation.
So again, we've now given them another shot. The defense has held up their end the first 2 drives, and now Miami finally puts together their first big drive. Tyrel Dodson smokes Achane on 1st down. We get a fantastic play where they try to run the running back pass, which is kind of cool that they actually legitimately track that as a sack for Dodson, because it was like Achane was playing quarterback on that play. It's kind of neat that they actually counted it as a sack. They come back. Wilson gets 10. Barrios converts on 7 on a play that I'm screaming at my TV. I watched Bernard take too many steps back. I'm like, they're just like, you could see them bunch it, and that they ran the motion to clear it out, and Bernard's there with 2 guys. I'm like, they're just going to run to the line and turn around. They're just going to run to the line and turn around. And Barrios runs to the line and turns around, and Bernard comes and tackles him. But, it's pick your poison. That's what Miami's good at. Yeah. Then again, on 1st down, we get another loss. This one, Groot strings out, and between him and Ed Oliver, they crush that one.
Yeah.
Get it cleaned up, get it to 3rd and 14, feel pretty good. And again, the stupid jump ball play to Tyreek Hill goes downfield, finds a soft spot. Mm-hmm. Tua throws it weirdly high, but Tyreek Hill goes up and gets it because that's just how that play works.
He's so crazy.
It's just he's such a freak athlete. It's crazy. Wilson hits a nice run 2 in a row here for 17 between the 2 of them. Tua, they then kind of catch us.
This play drove me freaking
we over pursued, and there was no one there. That looked like that Easton Stick run that he had in the Chargers game. We're like, where is it? There's no one here. Where is everyone? And when it's not, it's hard. Like, running quarterbacks are hard to contain, but you plan for it. The immobile quarterbacks, when they break contain, it's hard because you're not planning. You don't have a spy. No. You're not gonna spy Tua. You don't spy Tua. You don't need to.
And the Bills play so aggressive at linebacker, and the way they were playing this game and stopping the runs. Some of these plays that you brought up where they got stuffs, where it got to, it was 2nd and 14, they got to the 3rd and 14 play before that to get it to -4. Like, all those were super aggressive run stopping plays, and then McDaniel hit you with, like we talked about McDermott earlier, hitting him with a play. He was a step ahead of him and walked right into his trap. McDermott walked right into his trap by playing the run and just biting it so hard, and just Tua walks for the 1st down.
Yeah, good on him. 7 yards. And you could even tell Tua thought he was going to get to the sideline, then kind of realized Terrel was close on the pass. He's like, I better slide. I don't know what to do. And then, I know people are going to get mad. It did not look good for Jordan Poyer with Devon Achane in space. Guess what?
He's been making
no NFL defender looks good in space with Devon Achane.
Not right now.
He is one of the most electric athletes in the NFL. It's stupid that the Dolphins have Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle and Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane. It's stupid that we let them get all of these
that speed.
Insane athletes.
Is it though?
But he is. He's ridiculous. So he scored.
Yeah, he's super good. He scored. Probably the worst part about this now in hindsight is Dodson went out on this drive. I don't know the extent of that, but didn't love that.
Yeah, anybody in the chat here, if you guys are hearing any updates on injuries, I doubt we're going to hear anything
Probably not
official.
tonight.
And
Yeah.
I get the impression, this is going to be stupid. I don't think any of them are like serious, but
Like
we also
long
don't
term
know.
would be out for the
Correct,
season if the season was
you're correct, like week 3 out for the season.
yeah.
But it might be out for the season because if you have a 3 or 4 week injury now,
Season
that's
might
the
be
season.
over this week. Who knows?
You know, so yeah, we're in a 1 week at a time season now. So we don't know. I think it's very possible that Douglas or Gabe or any of them could have a short term, like couple week injury. So we won't know until we know more there. So we saw Dion came back in. Dodson did not. Gabe did not. Rasul did not. So we'll keep an eye out if anybody hears anything further than that. We'll research more of that after the show.
Yeah.
So again, they go down, they score. This time we do answer. So we had, the first 2 drives were good drives, 12 plays, 79 yards, 6 plays, 54 yards, ended in interceptions. This one, 7 plays, 75 yards, touchdown drive. Josh Allen to Dawson Knox right off the bat. Get a penalty, go to Kincaid. Josh scrambles for a nice run. We get the run to Cooks and then hit, Diggs on a really, really nice one. Josh was getting pressured on this one.
He should have never thrown this ball.
Correct.
This
is one where it was a fadeaway jumper. He was off his back foot, fading away, should not have thrown the ball, but his arm is so ridiculous that he threw this ball from probably midfield because we ran the play from the 43. He was at least 7 yards back, maybe more.
Diggs wasn't open.
No,
he's not open.
Directly into coverage, and Diggs is getting tackled as he catches the ball, and
you got to give Diggs
throws it. 40, 45 yards in the air, just drops it in the bucket, off his back foot, fading away,
and Diggs just grabs it.
It's unfair.
Going to the ground in coverage. The picture I used for the graphic here is just Ramsey blanketed all over him, and he just plucks it. And just the way he brings it in, he's just such a professional. Everything he does is such a good athlete. That connection, when it is going, has not been pure this year, especially as of late. But when it's on, dude, it is magic. That's fun. And then you get the explosive from Diggs. So great to see heading into the playoffs, them connecting on a big play like that. And when you connect on plays like that, it's got to turn into points, right? The NFL gods say so.
Anyway. Yeah, and we saw it here because I believe I heard this went off of Andrew Van Ginkel's helmet, I think was what I heard them say. Because the ball spiked way up in the air.
I didn't even think it would come down in bounds.
Correct. A weirder amount than a hand normally is. It kind of did seem like it was off a helmet. Yeah. So here, Justin said, why doesn't McDermott call that boink off the helmet pass play more often? That's such an easy touchdown.
How do you not get concussed from a Josh Allen close range?
I don't want to get hit in the head by a Josh Allen fastball. So it was a pass on a slant to Trent Sherfield. This was like the Jake Kumaro slant. Just, hey, I'm going to fastball this as hard as I can, and they're not going to be able to get it.
Yeah.
It hit Van Ginkel's, the top of his helmet, checked up. Trent Sherfield, there was a great description from Tirico. He played it like a baseball center fielder. He just sat there.
Yeah.
He found the wall. He marked his feet
where he was in bounds.
And he had just gorgeous toe drag swag and caught the ball as he was falling to the ground and tippy-toed in the end zone for a much needed touchdown.
Brandon
Beane's it was second and goal. It would have been 3rd and goal at the 6 if he didn't. We still would have had a chance, but gorgeous play. Fantastic job by him, and a much needed touchdown in the moment.
Yeah, Brandon Beane had a great night for all those guys that didn't do anything all season.
Yeah, Taylor Rapp, Deontay Hardy, Trent Sherfield, Poona Ford, Dawson Knox, an awful lot of guys who their investments had been questioned, panned out real well in week 18
for them tonight. Yeah. So we're 7-7 though. Miami getting the ball back here.
Yeah. So, we answered, they get it back here. And now I am getting a little bit nervous. So, we now have AJ Klein is in the game because every time I see number 54 flash on the screen, I'm like, oh, I thought we released him. Oh God, that's Baylon Spector. It took me 3 plays to fully grab my brain around the fact that, oh, that's Baylon Spector. And there was a question here. Chris asking, how about Spector getting in over Dorian Williams? Think they were afraid he'd over pursue. I don't know if it's that simple. That's a pretty reasonable dot to connect, that with a offense so built on horizontal threats and cutback lanes, having over pursuit is a killer in that spot. I think it's fair to balance, is the threat of over pursuit versus the increase in speed for Dorian Williams probably a trade-off. I'll say this, I was surprised. I expected it to be Dorian Williams. I was surprised it was Baylon Spector.
I was surprised it was Baylon Spector. I said it in our DM group.
Yeah.
But what I will say is this might be a classic example of, so Spector's weird, right? Because we had this middle linebacker competition. Yeah. There was like rumors of in the offseason, they're high on him. He might be involved there.
He actually is a sneakier athlete than people realize.
Yeah, and just not able to stay healthy, right? It was more of an availability issue. And then once camp closes, we only get to see media availability. And so he just kind of stayed unhealthy as the year went on and came back, got some special teams reps. But we don't know what happens behind and in practice and stuff like that. And those reps in practice, Eric talks about it all the time. If he's winning those and building confidence in coaches, that's where that transition from him being over Dorian Williams, I don't know that it has anything to do. It could. I think it's fair to say that his over pursuing is a problem, especially when Terren's going to over pursue at times. Bernard's going to over pursue at times. And then you add in a reckless Tasmanian devil sort of into that mix, and that can be bad against Miami. Yeah. So Spector actually held up seemingly pretty fine. Obviously, when he goes in, everything actually works out really well.
There's a reason. So think about it this way. Why does Tyrel Dodson succeed in the role that he's in?
Yeah.
Because they don't ask him to do things he's not suited to do.
Right.
So having the replacement be Baylon Spector, when you think about it that way, that, hey, the spot he's replacing is not a 100% snap share linebacker spot.
That's a good point.
It is short yardage, first and second down. Every obvious passing down, they take that linebacker out and bring in the third safety, which tonight has been Taylor Rapp, but they've even done it when Micah missed games or when other guys were out. They bring in the third safety and they play Jordan Poyer as the dime linebacker, bringing in the third safety. So in that sense, it actually makes sense that, hey, we're going to ask Baylon Spector to do what we've asked Tyrel Dodson to do, which is be a downhill force, come forward, wrap and tackle, and be a big physical player. That's what they were asking Baylon Spector to do. If it was a more traditional Matt Milano, all three downs, dropping back into space, maybe they would have gone Dorian Williams, but we don't ask him to do that. We bring in Taylor Rapp for that spot. So, you know, I think that makes sense if you think about it in that lens. So on that drive, we have him in there. You know, there were some penalties, a couple different plays. Tua found Durham Smythe for a play because Durham Smythe always catches balls against us. We had to play, you know, Cedric Wilson beat Dane on kind of a in and out, you know, that curl route. Dane grabbed on, got beat. They caught the ball anyways. It's kind of a ticky-tack call, but it doesn't matter because he caught the ball anyways. So it doesn't even matter if it was a ticky-tack call. Then we see a run. Tua gets a pass down to Tyreek down to the 3. You know, we're kind of managing the clock here. And then they just run kind of a speed out, and Tyreek Hill just gets to the pylon and barely, like, they didn't do a great job on the replay. I wasn't sure the ball crossed the goal line. Tyreek's feet
it was close into that edge.
It was close. When they showed the replay, it did. It just barely crossed the goal line.
If you had the wrong angle, it doesn't look like it.
Oh, yeah. Or if he had bobbled it at all, it would have been catching, like gaining possession in the field of play, not in the end zone. But it wasn't. It was a touchdown. But it was 1:43 left. And I was like, all right, we had to burn 2 timeouts to do that. But we got 1:43.
Get a double dip.
With a timeout. That's very doable. We get the ball coming out of the first half, coming out of the halftime.
Deferring looks brilliant right now.
Yes, this is going to be great. We're going to double dip. We're going to be able to take the lead back. This is going to be great. And it looks like that.
Felt like it for a minute.
We get the nice one. Steph kind of broke a couple tackles on a play and picks up 11. We are continuing to move the ball here. A quick one to Shakir. And then I'm kind of torn. 3rd and 5 at close to midfield. We're at our own 47. Shakir just caught the ball. He's in the middle of the field. He, caught it and fell to the ground. Did you like the timeout there? I don't think it was a huge thing. It's not something that I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe we used a timeout there. I think that's a spot where the clock's running, but it's 1:05. Like, it's not that close. I would have held the timeout there and just come up and run the next play. You probably cost you like
you had
20,
some time. Yeah,
20 more seconds probably.
Maybe.
So
it's tough because you had the time, but you didn't need the timeouts.
Yeah. So, they take the timeout. Josh scrambles. We get 13 yards there, but he's also inbounds.
Barely.
And we go to Diggs real quick. He gets a big chunk. And then we have the weirdest review I can ever remember in the NFL. We have a quick out to Dalton Kincaid where he gains no yards. He probably gains a foot. He probably gains 12 inches.
Honestly, barely.
And so the next play, because the NFL kind of rounds with their yardage, is going to be 2nd and 10, no matter what. And the NFL, they took like 5 minutes to review whether Dalton Kincaid's toe stayed in bounds when the result was going to be 21 seconds left, 2nd and 10, no matter what they decided. There was, I do, honest to God, all I can think of is the first half was going too fast and they needed to play more commercials. The only thing I can think of.
Maybe. It was pretty quick. It was a quick fat half.
It was very quick. And they didn't hit their quota of commercials in the first.
It was annoying. It was super annoying.
It made no sense. Like, there was no. I mean, I guess technically Dalton Kincaid, like, he's going. He has our rookie catch record already. Like, I don't get it. I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah. Producer Chris says it was a free timeout for the Dolphins defense.
It was.
It was. Gives everybody time.
I said the opposite in the moment. I said, well, we didn't have any timeouts either. And we kind of, get to now kind of plan our next couple plays. So
give everybody a break for a second.
I gave everybody a break. We come back. Josh scrambles, rolls out, and hits James Cook on an awesome out route that was a touchdown. Would have been the first step of a double dip. Everyone would have been going into halftime feeling awesome. Misses him. We then get a play that blows my mind. Vic Fangio, there's 15 seconds left. We have no timeouts. Miami looks at what we're doing, takes a timeout and adjusts, and then puts 5 players in the end zone, 2 players at the 5-yard line, and 3 players rushing at the line of scrimmage at the 23, and puts 18 yards of space between the 2 levels of the defenders with 15 seconds left. So the Bills throw an out route to Deontay Hardy, and he runs for 11 or 12 yards on 3rd and 10 and goes out of bounds. Yeah. And now we've set it up like, oh my God, they just gave us a free 2 shots into the end zone, for sure 1 shot into the end zone, and then we take a field goal. Yeah. So that's fine.
Vic Fangio and Leslie Frazier aren't different. I've been trying to tell you that for a long time.
That's a really good count. That's a really, really good count.
Different.
And this next one, honest to God, bothers me more than any of the rest, because the 4th and 2, like, I get it. He wanted to go for more. He's capable of getting more. Okay. You should have taken the profit. The throwing across the body on a 4th down. Okay. Getting tricked on a cover 0 blitz. Okay. Getting stripped by Christian Wilkins, who's a Pro Bowl level player. Okay. Like, I'm frustrated, but those, okay, I'll live because you're trying to make a play. This is high school level stuff. This is not high level, like 160 football IQ stuff. This is high school level stuff. When you have no timeouts and you're throwing the ball into the end zone and you have a field goal in the bag, you cannot throw short of the end zone, period. End of set. Like, a high school quarterback knows you cannot throw short of the end zone. They ran, Diggs was supposed to run to the front corner. He got jammed by Kohu. He barely got his toes into the end zone. He wasn't going to be there. On the other side, Kincaid runs a post to the back corner and he's going to go out of bounds and curls back. Shakir goes into the end zone and doesn't get the ball and is going to curl back. There's guys there to throw it out of bounds, just throw it over their heads, whatever is there. He throws a check down to Ty Johnson in the middle of the field, and they make a nice tackle. And yeah, maybe he breaks the tackle and he ends up making you look okay. But they had 2 guys right there, and they tackled them, and the clock runs out, and we get no points.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it. You can't.
Yeah. It was a fantastic play by Jerome Baker. It wasn't just a nice tackle. That was a stop. He should have. I mean, I agree with you 100%. There's no.
It's why
reason,
you can't. It's why
correct.
You can't. It's that
you don't make that throw. But God, 9 times out of 10, that runner is going in. Like, that was a really good play, and it just felt so stupid in the moment, because you're right. Like, you can't do that. But if this is like the Josh Allen experience, like, you're not supposed to do this, but then it's like, it was there. We had it, like, and he got his arm got it there, and we had a chance. But no, you can't have going with a chance to double dip and know you're going to get the ball back in a game like this. Obviously, you can have it because the Bills were able to go on and win.
They overcame it. He overcame it.
Yes, you might be able to get away with stuff like this again next week, but Ravens, you're not going to be able to do that against the Ravens.
It will be hard to put together 4 more like this, but we've won 5 in a row to this point. And
a lot like this. 3.
He's a handful of 3 out of those 4. 3 out of those 5 have been like this. So, God bless him. It doesn't matter. I'm going to watch next week, and I'm going to cheer my heart out.
Don't even care.
Be the reason that I'm excited.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. So we go into half. They've kind of now deflated everything, because now the Dolphins have scored on their last 2 drives. We had a chance to tie it up. Everybody's debating on whether you're mad about that he threw it. Some people are trying to accuse me that nobody ran into the end zone. 3 Bills players touched the end zone with their feet. Like, the 2 front corner routes were made to go to the front corner, just like Tyreek Hill's touchdown, where, hey, you catch it and either you go out of bounds or drag your toes, but like their front pylon routes. And then Kincaid ran to the back pylon. Like, we had 3 guys there and available that you either overthrow because they're not open, or you hit him for a touchdown. Like, that's what the play design was. That's how the play design works. Yeah. Or you're mad that James Cook dropped the ball, or you're just mad in general and finding something else to be angry about. So everybody's pretty angry.
Things.
Yeah, all the things. And it comes out and it's like, okay, well, it's halftime, but we can kind of get something together here. We'll at least get the second half of the double dip. We didn't get the first half, but we can come back. Maybe we can tie it up. Couple nice plays. Mm-hmm. We're moving the ball down the field, and they get us again with the cover 0 blitz, and this time Josh gets sacked. Melvin Ingram gets him this time. It takes us back. It's 4th and 13. There's nothing you can do on 4th and 13. You got to punt. Sam Martin punts it down to the 15, and it feels really deflating. It's, oh my God, we just gave the ball back to them. We're down 14-7. They can put this away at any time, because it just doesn't feel like we're putting up multiple touchdowns right now.
Yeah. And it didn't feel good like last week either, where like you had this drive stall, but then you had like a great punt, and you punt down to the 15. It's like, it's okay. It just felt like everything about the game, besides some of the plays on defense, was like everything was like fine, but not good enough to win a game. That's how it felt.
You know what's crazy? That was Sam Martin's only punt of the game.
Yeah.
We drove the length of the field and turned it over so many times.
Turn it over.
That was his only punt of the game.
Josh arm punted one, so he didn't need.
He did, yeah. Josh arm punted to contribute. Yeah. So here again, the first one of this defense of multiple we already went through here. There's no surprises here. 3 and out. Past Achane, pass to the other hill.
Great play.
Berrios.
Great play on that Berrios. 3rd and 2.
Yes.
A little screen pass to Berrios, and Dane Jackson comes up after getting smoked in one of those touchdown drives, comes up, makes a great play, and just one of those pulling back on the guy to save the yard tackles
and
to get
like,
it into a 4th
Berrios
and 1.
was even like reaching out with the ball and like almost got there, and that was 4th and 1. It was probably like 4th and a foot.
Yeah, honestly,
but
you're
on 24. You can't. It doesn't matter. 4th and a foot. You're on 24. You can't.
Correct. It was so close though that I was like, man, like I'd have a tough time. Not just if you had Josh Allen. Like
yeah. One, if you have a different quarterback and you have quarterback sneak in your pocket, that's much more doable.
Yeah.
And it's just not, the Bills aren't infallible in those spots, but the Bills, when you have someone like Josh Allen, the Bills were able
close.
To go, able to convert on 4th downs to be able to go through those in multiple 3rd downs. Instead they punt. Now the Bills get it back again, and we got something going again. We're feeling pretty good. I will say, for as frustrating this offensive game was for the Bills, we had 0 3 and outs. We had no 3 and outs.
No, they moved the ball well. I'm telling you, EVA, DVOA, it's all gonna look great.
I didn't even look. 473 yards. We had 473 yards.
The
That's
offense
ridiculous.
moved. It's
We
the
almost had
story of the
500
year,
yards.
dude. It's the year. All in one
We
game.
did 500 yards, and we only scored 2 offensive touchdowns, and one of them was off of Andrew Van Ginkel's helmet to Trent Sherfield toe dragging into the end zone. Oh, makes me crazy. Okay. So here again, 13 plays, 49 yards. We're moving our way down the field. Another play to Sherfield. He's contributing. Another nice scramble for Josh. Hits Kincaid, hits Shakir, hits Kincaid again. We're moving. We got some things going.
In time. Josh isn't running around on this drive. Like, you're starting to see some
maybe
time.
the first time where, hey, the halftime adjustments on the protections are working. With this, you had a couple here. This was where both a Kincaid and a Shakir conversion were on hot reads off of the cover 0 blitz. So that is the halftime adjustment. They're figuring out the protections. They're getting the hot reads out. We get it down there. And this one, this isn't Josh making a horrible decision. It's 3rd and 13. You're actually in a spot where if you eat the sack, you still get the field goal. You're okay. And just Christian Wilkins makes a really good play.
He's so big.
He just stripped, they set it up well. They got all the pressure going to the other side, set up a one-on-one versus Osiris Torrance. Osiris Torrance has had a fantastic rookie season. He's not infallible. He's a rookie guard going against a Pro Bowl level player. He's going to get beat. Like, it's, it's going to happen. Yep. Unfortunately, instead of being able to just eat the sack and take the field goal, we get a fumble. And now it's really starting to feel like, all right, this is just, we're not going to get it done. Like, that's just too many. At that point now, you have now driven the length of the field 4 times. 12 plays, 79 yards, interception. 6 plays, 54 yards, interception. 10 plays, 73 yards, stopped at the 1 at the end of the half. And now 13 plays, 49 yards, strip sack fumble. 4 legitimate scoring drives at a minimum, just, 4 field goals there. And all of a sudden, you're talking about 19-14 with 4 field goals, with the James Cook, drop touchdown, with all the other pieces. So many with the miss.
Should have been 20-something to 14.
Stefon Diggs on the overthrowing him on the touchdown, the James Kick drop. Those are not 2 like make-believe things. Those are 2 drives we didn't score on that we
should have been 24-14.
Gimme
rolling.
The other 2 are easy field goals. That's 20 points. It's 27-14 right there. Very, very doable. And we don't do it. The defense put in a bad spot, got to come back out. And again, right off the bat, Tyreek 15 yards, Tyreek 14 yards. And now we get some of the weird penalty situations and leads to this.
Yeah, so I got to jump in here because it's my drive of the game. I don't know if it is for you. I know the offense has qualifying drives of the game, but for me, this is where it all came to Rose. We're going to praise Josh Allen for getting the Bills over the hump to win this game, but what really kept the Bills in this game was this Sean McDermott defense. And this is complimentary football. This is what Sean McDermott was hammering on all year, and everyone was making fun of him in the press conferences. Sean McDermott had a great day, and I want to listen to his press conference because I hope there's a lot of smiling and smirking, maybe some underhanded snarkiness back for all the stuff that he's gotten this year. But right here, yeah, like you said, you get a little bit of the weird penalty stuff. You get into a long situation into the 2nd and 30. They get the 6-yard run. We've talked about this already earlier. Smythe gets the flag.
Don't even miss winning the challenge early. Yeah. 1st and 15, 14 yards to Tyreek Hill, and McDermott smartly challenges it and gets that called. That's on this drive too.
I didn't have that there. Yeah. McDermott wins the challenge, which he never wins. Another benefits of McDermott here. And then Benford with a great play, and then you get that blindside penalty. But anyways, you get into this position where it's a punt. And you made this point earlier too, Greg, that 95-yard punts returns shouldn't happen because you don't return balls that get kicked that far back.
I was furious that he fielded this punt. I was furious. Like, what are you doing? You're backing up. He was at the 8, 7, 6, 5. You didn't field it to the 4-yard line.
Yeah.
Let it go into the end zone.
Yeah,
don't
what are you doing?
Field that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he doesn't listen to
Yeah,
idiots like
this
us,
is
because
fantastic. I'm so glad to be wrong.
Deontay Hardy takes a 95 yards, just shot out of a cannon. Unfortunately, a Miami Dolphins player did get hurt on the play, and it did contribute. Him getting hurt on that play contributed to the whole opening up for Hardy, but Hardy took advantage
Not only
of it.
hurt himself, but took out
Yes.
Ingold, their fullback, who's also a good special teams player, just
Yeah.
like Gilliam is for us.
Correct.
It really is a shame. It was not.
Hate
No one
to
did
see.
anything wrong. It was just a
Nope.
bad accident. But
Nope.
it not only hurt a guy, but it contributed. It was a block almost to why
Yes.
we scored.
Yes. And I'm going to cheat a little bit here. So the Bills get the return. They go 14-14. I'm going to connect it again with the next drive, because not only does your defense get the stop there that leads to that punt return, giving you that complimentary football, but then you also get Miami gets the ball back, and it's another 3 and out for this Buffalo
How
Bills
often
defense,
do we
dude.
see, whether it's on a flip field, a quick turnover, or on the good side of it, like you're pumped up about the return, but you just had a drive and now you immediately have to go right back out there. How often do we see the defense let down because you just had to go back out there for back-to-back drives?
Not this time. It really was just doing work. And one thing I tweeted out during this, there was a 1st and 10 and there was a run play, and it was stuffed by Terrel, Bernard, and Taron Johnson. And I have like 5 or 6 check marks next to the words Bernard and Taron marked all throughout here. They looked like a WWE 90s tag team out there, just like running through on
Marty
all these,
Jannetty.
The Rockers. That was exactly what I had in mind. But on these early downs, you brought it up earlier, of them doing such a good job of holding them on those early rush downs to short yardage. It was really Bernard and Taron Johnson, and they are so much fun to watch when they're in their bag going. So I had a bunch of notes for them there too. But then Dane, again, being put in a tough spot. Great. Dane came out early, got beat on one of those early drives that he had to come into the game. But here he comes in and makes another play on the ball that forces a punt. And he's the perfect kind of guy. Why I pounded the table for a guy like him as either what is his cornerback 2 or even as this cornerback 3. He's perfect cornerback 3 because he has the experience. He can get burnt early in a game and come back and be steady and still play good. And he showed it on a couple plays here. I have his name circled a few times here in the second half. But anyways, they force another punt, gets you the ball back. And now I know there's a little bit of an argument from the idea of momentum and such. But this is where the momentum gets a little out of control. I'll leave it to you now for your drive.
Yeah, and I was going to cheat the other way and use that 3-and-out stop to get the ball right back. And now you've now we've tied the game. The momentum is feeling real. They just had an ugly 3-and-out where they gave the ball back in a tie game where, oh my gosh, Miami right here should feel like the Bills felt in many of those other games. Like, oh my God, we've controlled this entire game. We've played well this whole game. How are we going to let them come down and take the lead here? And the Bills put together an 8-play, 74-yard drive, all the way down the field. Really, really strong play in 2 really nice chunks where you get a quick one to Diggs again right off the bat, just a couple quick yards, feed Stefon Diggs, let them know they're not going to scheme him out of this. Cook gets a pickup here, and then we see Josh run it here this time for 5 yards on a snowplow that went a little crazy.
Well, could it be a snowplow without Dion? Dion wasn't in the game for this drive.
So here we lost Dion Dawkins going out with a they showed later that like a pretty bad laceration, like blood all over his hand.
During this drive,
it took a while to get him stitched up.
When they were showing, I don't know if it was during this drive or the next one, when they were showing him getting wrapped up, you could see the guy being like, "Go get the tape," and I was yelling at my TV like, "Go get the tape!" Like, what do you hurry up?
I'm like hoping that Josh knows he's that close to coming back in. Shout out to Alex Vandemark. We have been incredibly fortunate. Like the percentage of snaps, not only starting every game, but the percentage of snaps that our top 5 offensive linemen played is the highest in the NFL. Like it's the highest in the NFL. We've been incredibly fortunate. Alex Vandemark hasn't had to play all season. We've had a lot of David Edwards snaps as a jumbo lineman. Ryan Bates has barely had to play. Like those guys never have to come in the game. So shout out to him. Was not a liability. Like all I can say, I don't remember anything he did that made me concerned other than his existence on the football field.
Hey, they scored
he didn't
with him.
do anything that made me concerned. So shout out to him for not doing that. 2 really nice ones here. Josh on the one sets his feet, makes a gorgeous pass to Dalton Kincaid down the sideline. One of the prettiest passes Josh had all day. Just unbelievable. Kincaid runs out of bounds for 26 yards. Then we get a nice little check down to James Cook, and then boom, right back to Shakir. Another one, sets his feet, takes the shot, gets it to Khalil Shakir, who runs out of bounds at the 3-yard line. And I'm sitting there in the Cover One staff chat just because everything we've seen Josh do so far. And I'm like, don't throw the ball again.
Don't.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see another pass. Just hand it off 4 times.
Snowplow.
Shove it in the heck. Honestly,
all the way.
Run 4 straight quarterback sneaks from the 3. Get me in the end zone.
Yeah.
Of course, James Cook tries to bounce it on the first play.
I know.
Loses 2 yards. We're now at second to go at the 5, and I'm like, all right, we have to pass now. Josh hits Dawson Knox, hits him for a touchdown. And it just was such a wave of relief of, oh my God, we're going to figure this out. We're going to figure this out. And that relief that I felt in the moment is the reason this is my Western drive of the game. Western has been awesome to us. They've been fantastic sponsors for multiple years now. It's been great to work with them. And this was a great, great feeling to be able to pick this as my drive of the game.
Yeah, no, it's a perfect. And honestly, it feels so good after a season like we've had to have a true, not only one, like I think mine are legitimate, and that whole stretch to finally give West her a deserving stretch of driving games in a big one in the biggest game of the regular season. Good for you guys, because I felt bad a little bit for our guys over there at West Her on some of these games through that stretch in the slump. I was struggling to find a drive of the game to talk about, but got some good burn for him here this week.
Yeah. And honestly, this one probably could have been right there because coming back out, this was 3 plays where our guys made plays.
Yep.
They made the plays. They tried to go deep on the first play to Tua. We have really good coverage. They're right there, able to break it up. Tua goes to Chase Claypool. I actually wrote in my game day thread, I swear to God, I forgot Chase Claypool was on the Dolphins. Like until he caught that ball. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot he's on the Dolphins. Okay. All right. I forgot he existed as a human and was still in the NFL. Goes out of bounds. It's 3rd and 7. And this one, it felt really good because the 2 guys who, it's, I don't know if this is the last stretch we're going to have them, but it's getting close. It's getting there. The combo of Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer made the play. They disguised the coverage.
Yeah.
Jordan Poyer comes up slowly. He ends up coming off the corner to force a quick throw. Tua gets the ball to where Tyreek Hill could make a catch. Micah Hyde is right there and either punches it out or is close enough to be a contributing reason why Tyreek Hill cannot make a tough catch. And just to have those 2 make a critical play in a critical moment. And again, this is one where I get why McDaniel made the decision he did. But punting the ball with 6 minutes left when you're down a touchdown, I know it's 4th and 7. It's at your own 28. Man, that's tough to give the ball back. And
momentum was all on the other side too. And you're just giving the
ball rolling down the hill.
And you were inches away from it just getting buried on you.
And this one here, he won a challenge. That's good. I think he made some other good savvy decisions, picking Spector over Dorian Williams. There were some good decisions here for Sean McDermott, but this one blew me away. It absolutely blew me away. We get a check down to James Cook for 6 yards. Let the clock run down. Josh didn't like the look on 2nd down. I'm fine with it. I don't love burning timeouts in the second half, but when you're up a touchdown on a 4-minute drill offense, you took the full 40 seconds. I'll live. That's fine.
Sure, whatever.
We now get Fournette with a tough run for 3 yards, gets it to 3rd and 1. Josh on the first one, it's close and like they mark it just short and they measure it, and we're at our own 35.
You've taken almost 2 minutes off the clock, right?
We've taken over 2 minutes off the clock at this point. And how many times in the McDermott era have we seen the lineup on 4th and short, dramatic movements back and forth, Josh hard count, hope to catch him offsides. Once in every 10 we do catch him offsides, and then we take the penalty and then we punt. They didn't. They snapped the ball. Josh goes up over the top, gets the first down on 4th and 1 at our own 35-yard line. That was the biggest cojones decision I've seen McDermott bet on. That's something that like people went nuts when Dan Campbell did that in a very similar situation. He deserves a ton of credit.
Do you think they'll talk about it on the radio tomorrow? I don't think they
believe in your team, put faith, let your team know you believe in them to be able to go for it and to seal the win and not just punt it back and trust your defense and all the things that so much go into those things before. He gets it there, keeps the clock running. Now you've flipped it into Miami burn timeout mode. Fournette gets 2 yards. They have to take a timeout. Josh smartly is running, has to scramble. They actually catch it later on. He technically touched his hand out of bounds before his knee came down because he was smart and tried to stay in bounds and slide down. They don't catch that. It's a real shame. Miami has to take their second timeout. Now we get to where, okay, it's 3rd and 8. We're going to need something good here. You're stuck in one of those spots where you kind of need to pass it to convert here, but and we get a delay a game.
I was so
like
pissed,
Josh
Greg.
is
you can't do it there. You can because you want.
He's trying to adjust. He knows the cover 0 blitz is coming. He's trying to adjust and he's trying to get the protections set right. And he does. It was kind of a quick one. I won't lie. It was kind of a quick one. We see that hesitation after it flips to 0. They were real quick with that flag. He gets it back to 3rd and 13. I'm like, God, we're gonna mess this up. And then the most Josh Allen play I can remember. The man scrambles for 15 yards on 3rd and 13. I talked about it earlier in the show. He gets hit at 9 yards into that run. Bounces off the first linebacker, extends, starts to stumble down around like 10 or 11 yards and dives forward for 3 more yards for a 15-yard gain on 3rd and 13.
Plus a holding from Ramsey gives it a 20-yarder, which makes it an explosive.
Hey, explosive play.
Yeah, look at that.
Unbelievable. Just that combination of McDermott going for it on our own 35, Josh willing the team to run there. Unbelievable combination. Now we're still 4-minute drill. You know,
but does anything tell you about the Josh Allen experience more than a 3rd and 8 delay a game and then Josh making an incredible 15-yard run that only Josh Allen can make to make up for it?
Yep. Like, the full experience
on display,
in 2 snaps, the full roller coaster in 2 snaps. Again, now we're in jumbo set. Fournette loses a yard on this one because they know the run's coming. They burn a timeout. We get another one here for the kind of the quarterback sweep. Run the full clock down because now they burned their last timeout. And then here, I was torn. I was wondering, like, hey, are they going to pass it? Are they going to run it? I'm not sure which we should do to keep the clock running. They throw the ball to Shakir, who dives, ends up just short for like a full 1-yard run. And you're at a spot now where it technically would have been a 55-yard field goal to try to put us up 2 scores, but you didn't go for it on your own 35 to then kick or punt or anything here. You went for it on your own 35 because you want to put the game away with you in control. And they did it again. They ran all the way down. They actually come out of the 2-minute warning, lined up with Leonard Fournette in the Wildcat and Josh out wide as a receiver. He comes in motion, quickly lines up as a quarterback sneak. Fournette comes up behind him. They get set there. You get the hard count. The Bills take a timeout, and Collinsworth starts talking as though like, oh, I can't believe they didn't go for it. I can't believe they were going to punt. And I'm sitting there going like, what are you talking about? There's no chance they're punting. There's 0 chance that they're punting. And I waited for a minute to see, but I'm like, yeah, Josh isn't moving. They're going for this. Like that was just, hey, they have the timeout. They're going to try to catch him. See if you get the freebie. And they come back out. They go for it. And, I think some fans got mad because it was a little bit of a quick whistle from the referees. It was probably, debatable on how close it was. I think the refs blew the whistle at the right time, and I think they marked it right. I think we were just short. I think we were. Hey, we converted. I think, it was like 5 out of 6. It's not going to be 100%. It's not 100% play. But you go for it because you believe in your team.
Yes. And that's really all that matters about this drive to me is you what?
Yeah, 4:21.
4
4 minutes and 21
minutes off
seconds
the
off the clock. You know,
Ran a
they punted the ball with 6:22. They don't get the ball back until 0 timeouts left with 1:53 to go. You accomplish what you set out to do.
most of it, right? But here's
I mean, don't get me wrong. A score to go up 2 scores would have been better to completely ice it. But eating their 3 timeouts plus 4:21 to be able to go
as good
in
as
there,
it gets outside of scoring.
yeah,
Yes.
you converted 3 sets of first downs. Like that's what you want to do.
Yes, you ate up some clock. The only problem for me though, Greg, is scar tissue.
Oh yeah.
Minute
I
53.
fully. Yeah, we gave the ball back with 1:53, no timeouts left. I'm like, oh my god, they're going to come down and score and go for 2 and mess this up. I can't believe it.
This is going to be and then get like a punt return in overtime and blow this whole season off. I felt, what have we heard about McDermott's defenses, Leslie Frazier's defenses of the past? Who's to blame? They're not going to be able to hold this team. They're going to march right down the field on us and take away the last one here. Final drive of the game.
So the crazy part is there's 3 straight plays that all 3 of them could have been an interception.
Yeah.
So on the first play, Dane's in good coverage, tackles Tyreek Hill. We're in good shape, pushes him out of bounds. Probably even debatable on it could have been the backwards momentum and kept the clock running, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Then it plays to Durham Smythe. Good tackle by Micah Hyde in bounds, keeping him in bounds, fighting with him for the ball. Then we get an incomplete to Tyreek Hill, but we get defensive pass interference on Dane. It was fine. Like there was contact. It's a little ticky tack, but it was fine. They're now at the 40, and here we get a shot downfield to Hill. Taylor Rapp almost goes up and intercepts it right there, and then they try to go to the other side to Chase Claypool to give one of their only big physical receiver a chance for a jump ball, and Taylor Rapp just beats him to the spot. Intercepts the ball, clean play, landed on the ball and kind of knocked the wind out of him. He was fine after the play. I will say somebody put in the chat that Rasul Douglas said in the interview that he'll be fine. So
maybe it was just precautionary to keep him out.
Yeah, we'll see what fine means. But
Von Miller said he was fine too.
Yeah, correct. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. That's encouraging. That's better than him, saying something negative. So I'll take it.
Yes.
So here, Taylor Rapp, game clinching interception, and it felt good that the defense played great today, and they were the ones who clinched it in the moment when they've given up some late scores in other spots. They clinched it on the field by them making a play. Nothing was given to them. This wasn't a mistake by the offense. Tua had to push the ball down the field. He had to try to make a play. They had no timeouts. He had to take a big shot to their most physical receiver. It was awesome that they made the play and took this. That was awesome.
Yeah. Honestly, I know that, again, when you have success, the quarterback is going to get a lot of that success and a lot of the praise for that. And I know Josh will get criticisms. Like you said, the people that were already handing him criticisms are going to continue to hand him some criticisms after a game like this, whatever. Sean McDermott's haters were so loud, were so vocal, were so adamant that he was the problem. We saw a 3-part docu-series written on him being the problem, literally called the Sean McDermott problem. And I'm not saying that there isn't some truth to some of the problems with Sean McDermott, but for him to turn this team around and get them to this spot, even with Josh Allen not playing great over the past 3 games, but then to end it with a cherry on top of taking the number 1 offense in football and not even allowing them to get first downs until late in the game and then stopping them there anyway and getting 3 and outs in the second half to get your offense the ball, to put them in position. And I don't think it will get talked about enough this coming week. We'll celebrate the big plays and some of the weird plays and stuff like that. But Sean McDermott put on a masterclass against the NFL's best offensive mind. And with all the criticism that he faced, I just couldn't be happier for that unit, for Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, this probably is their swan song together, at least for the Buffalo Bills.
Seems that way.
And so for all that to come together and pitch a game like this to win another AFC East Championship, and when nobody thought that they would even be in the running, now they're the number 2 seed, getting a home playoff game. Like, Couldn't be happier for this group and the resiliency of the group. And hats off to Sean McDermott. This was a great day for him and his defense.
Yeah. So before we close out with some final thoughts on the game and what comes next, listen to these handsome gentlemen give you some great advice on something you can invest in. Many people ask us the best way to support us here at Cover One, and that is to sign up to become a Cover One Pass member. That contribution helps give us the access to all the data and information we use to create the content that you love.
And I think most importantly, brings you into our community of insiders. It's a great community based on Slack. I know a lot of people don't want to be on social media anymore or be in on those conversations. We bring all of it to you right in our great community of educated fans. And most importantly, you get access to our content creators.
Even better than that, everybody loves merch. You get awesome t-shirts, a cool decal, and a letter from the Cover One team signed directly to you.
All for $60. That gets you the entire season, next year's free agency and draft. $60. Click the link in the description. Cover One Insider. Become one today. That bald guy is almost 40. Can you believe that? He's handsome.
That's absolutely. He was a very good looking man.
Yeah.
So this has been a crazy run so far, and I've said it multiple times on the show, said it multiple times on Twitter. Our playoffs started 5 weeks ago. Yeah. We've got 4 to go. This is how it works. Our playoffs started already. They are just in the middle of it now. We just won the middle game out of the 9 games that are needed. Their backs have been against the wall the whole time. Now they've set themselves up with a reasonable shot to be able to do this next week. They will be hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers next Sunday at 1 o'clock. Aaron, we get 1 o'clock football. We get another 1 o'clock game in our life. The Buffalo Bills will be hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday at 1 o'clock with 1 p.m. football. How lovely is that?
It's super lovely. So I have a birthday next week. My wife has some stuff going on. I'm not really sure what she's up to doing the birthday party.
40 is a good one to be.
40 is a big one. So I think she's got something going on anyway. And so she saw the graphic come up before the game. She didn't stay awake for the whole game. She got to work in the morning. She doesn't love it. She saw the graphic come up before the game though, and saw that there was a possibility of something happen Saturday night game. And she was like, wait, they can play Saturday night? That changes everything. So she is going to be thrilled to find out tomorrow morning that we are still good for birthday plans. We get a nice 1 o'clock game. I was complaining during this game about not being able to stress eat like I can on 1 o'clock. I have a big spread of food. It's like a lunch. Much more conducive to a stressful Bills game. But Greg, I'm not going to put the horse ahead of the car or the car ahead of the horse here, but I feel pretty good heading into birthday weekend playing the Steelers at home.
We talked about it a lot. The leverage and difference of the leverage of this game was enormous. Going on the road to Kansas City, going on the road back to Miami when they're going to get Waddle and Mostert back.
No thanks.
Versus at home facing what sounds like now a Mason Rudolph-led Pittsburgh Steelers without TJ Watt. Maybe TJ Watt tries to gut it out because he's a really, really tough player. Maybe he does. They're 9.5-point favorites right now. We'll find a way to make it stressful.
Closer. It'll be closer than that.
Yeah. I'm guessing the Steelers will cover. It's fine. They should win. And as the 2 seed, that means they'll get another home game. And they'll sit there, and we will be we will host the Chiefs if they win, who are not the Chiefs of past, but if the Chiefs beat the Dolphins, we'll host the Chiefs.
Yeah.
If the Dolphins upset the Chiefs, they will go to Baltimore, which a healthy Miami team going to Baltimore is something I would enjoy.
Beat up on each other.
Would be lovely. And then we would play the winner of Cleveland and Houston, which again are 2 tough teams that are good, but I'll take my chances against those teams at home. I would welcome a Steelers Texans opening or a Steelers Browns opening to the playoffs and let the Chiefs, Dolphins, and Ravens go play themselves on the other side of the bracket. That's what we have now set up. That's what we've set up.
Did you know that once I wrote an article, it's on the internet that I said the Bills should just stay put and draft Mason Rudolph and not trade picks, and that was the answer to the quarterback situation. I actually put that on the internet once.
I do think
he's a quarterback that is a playoff NFL quarterback. So
that's right. You knew he was going to be a playoff starter.
That's right.
You knew it. So again, this has been incredible. You guys have been awesome. We had like
Yeah.
1,700 people in here with us at one point. You guys have been fantastic.
Very fun
Help
tonight.
us out here. Press that like button on your way out. Let us know. Leave some comments
Yeah.
in YouTube. You guys have been fantastic. Our fantastic producer Chris
Or
is
Chris.
traveling and driving back during the game, staying awake with us now till 1 a.m. This has been unbelievable. You guys have been fantastic. We really, really appreciate it.
You guys are the best.
Any final thoughts for the people, Aaron?
Nah, enjoy this, dude. Like I said
Soak it up.
earlier,
Listen to all the national content, all of it.
Yeah. There's been so much hate thrown the Bills fans, everything this year. It's such a weird year when we go back and digest this one. So probably the outside of getting that first AFC East championship, this one I'm enjoying the most because it wasn't supposed to happen. They weren't supposed to get it. They weren't supposed to be the 2 seed. And when the dust all settled and week 18 settled, the Bills are still the AFC East champs until proven otherwise. So next year, maybe week 18, somebody else can take that title, but for another year, it's us, and that's fun. So big shout out to everybody that's been in here with us. We really, really appreciate you guys. You guys have been fantastic. Yeah. But on behalf of our fantastic producer, Chris Kepner, on behalf of all the awesome folks in the chat here tonight, on behalf of Aaron Quinn and everybody else at Cover One, I am Greg Tompsett. You've been listening to the Cover One Buffalo podcast. We are